Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and thanks for watching this episode of Rebecca Brand Recipes. You might notice my kitchen is all getting ready for the holidays because I'm about to do a whole lot of holiday recipes. And even though it's early, I have one that's really pretty for the holidays in this set of recipes. It's a chicken parmigiana, and it's made as a copycat of the Olive Garden recipe. And you might say, Rebecca, the Olive Garden, well, that's a chain. Yes, it's the biggest chain in America of Italian restaurants. And so I took their recipe, I tried to mimic it exactly like they make it, but of course, in your home kitchen, it's gonna be better than it is at any chain restaurant anywhere in America, even if it is the Olive Garden. So I'm gonna hope you like that recipe. It's really easy to follow, and the dish itself, it's really about $3 a person. In the recipe, I say it's $5 a person, but it's really less expensive than that. And at the restaurant, you'd have to pay almost $19 a person. So this is the deal in chicken parmesan recipes that's all from scratch and with the most excellence of flavor. And it's a super easy recipe to make. So I hope you like it. I also make a very simple beef stir fry. And I love this recipe because any kind of beef you have in your freezer or anywhere else, like let's say it's on sale over this time of year at the grocery store, you just get the cheapest cut of beef. And I'm going to show you the tricks to make it super tender, and I use a withHoisin sauce in this recipe to give it that burst of beautiful Asian flavor. I hope you like this show. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're doing a copycat Olive Garden chicken parmesan recipe, and I figured it out. This recipe has a secret ingredient, I believe, and I'm going to tell you what that is, and it's simple, so that when you make this $20 dish for yourself in your house, it's going to taste like Olive Garden's with that pop of wonderful flavor. I have researched this recipe by going to lots of Olive Gardens. Did you know there's almost 900 restaurants around the world? And they all have that proprietary way of making this classic chicken parmesan. That's just a little bit different than all the rest of those recipes that are so basic. I just got a brand new set of pots and pans that I'm going to make with this recipe. The ingredients for this dish are the classic marinara sauce. Now this recipe itself is so inexpensive. Don't even bother to buy it already made unless you want to. You're not going to get a ticket by me for that. With one large can, 28 ounces of canned whole tomatoes. This is about $1 a can if you shop well. 1 onion, 2 cloves of garlic, dried oregano. How easy is that? And salt. That's it. So to make it by scratch is really about $1.50. Of course, you got to put it on your spaghetti. Then you need your chicken. I just got this chicken on sale for 99 cents a pound. That's about a pound of chicken I'm using here today. I'm going to attempt to make this dish look exactly like the dish they have. That's about $20. To be exact, that would be $18.49 on today's menu. That chicken needs to go into the dippy-doo and get fried. That would be with egg, milk, flour, breadcrumbs. I'm frying it up in vegetable oil. And on top is just mozzarella. It's not even Parmesan. Parmesan's a lot more expensive. I think they go on the side and they add that. And for the pretty factor, some fresh parsley. I mean, really, they call it chicken Parmesan, and I don't think there's real Parmesan in it. Parmesan cheese is about $20 a pound. It's one of the most expensive kinds of cheeses, whereas mozzarella is a fraction of the cost. It's about $2 a pound wholesale. So they're really not putting that much Parmesan in your chicken Parmesan. A little factoid here. To get to the finish line fast, we're going to start with making the marinara because that takes the longest time out of all parts of the recipe. So I'm going to grab one of my new pans from Ep.6. And today I'm grabbing my saucepan and a lid. It was time. I got a new set. And I needed a non-stick because once in a while I'm going to burn something. Ta-da! And turn your stove on high. And open that can of your whole peeled tomatoes. This one had a dent. It was cheaper. You gotta get around the dent. Gotta flicker up. So take the lid off and dump those 28 ounces of whole tomatoes in that pot. It's boiling. The temperature is going to go way down because that was room temp, hitting a hot pot. And when it starts to lower to boil, keep her on high and dump in your large or medium onion. I used a large today because I like the sweetness of onion, and I think that's what they have too. It's a little extra sweet, their marinara sauce, and I think it's because of the onion they use. Onion is a very inexpensive ingredient, so I think they're putting a lot of onion in. It's less expensive than those tomatoes, you know. I'm giving it a stir. Those onions as well are going to take the temperature down, and I like to get to the finish line fast. So temperature is one of the ways that you can control how fast you cook. You just don't want to burn. Put the lid on, and down she goes to medium. So these are 2 large heads of garlic. Give them a swack. Peel off the skins, 1 and 2. And because I'm just looking for flavor, I'm just going to add them into the pot. I don't even have to cut it, which is why I left those onions large too. We got a whole tomato, we got big slices of onion, big hunks of garlic, and they're just happy together in their party, being more of their real fat, chubby selves. And now add 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. That has a whole lot of flavor in it. I'm aiming for the center. And salt to taste, but I know they have a lot of salt in it. I'm using a half teaspoon. That mimics the recipe best. 1/2 teaspoon. And shove that down into the pot. And all of that salt and the oregano is going to dissipate with the garlic. Make sure the garlic's in there. And back on goes your lid. And set your timer for 45 minutes for the marinara. I love this Ep.6. I needed to refresh my kitchen with something more modern. Now it's time to cut this really large breast of chicken. This was on sale, and in my little package was this super giant piece. I'm really going to try to mimic their menu shot of this recipe. So I'm going to try to cut this so it's going to look like what they have. So this is really extra. So, you know, for a family, you're going to want to use this. But for this recipe, to make it just the same for the Copycat, that's about all you need of chicken. For your 1869 chicken parmesan. Nothing in my chicken kitchen is going to go to waste. So I'm going to put this in a little baggie and stick it in the fridge for later. And wash my hands while I'm at it. Hand washing is really big these days, and especially if you're working with raw chicken. Next step is the pounding. So I'm covering this in plastic wrap, lest I make a really big mess. And let's say you've had a hard day. This is a part of the recipe that you get to take your aggressions out. You know, many times things go wrong during a day. Cooking can be so therapeutic. I have so much fun when I'm cooking. I hope you do too. I want you to comment. Let me know what you're thinking. We're all just trying to make it through here. And for the marinara sauce, about every 10 minutes, you gotta stir. Look at that. And look at all that liquid that came out of those tomatoes. Those onions are getting soft. I'm pushing them down. I want them to cook all together. Lid back. Now we're gonna make our little bird bath. They get to dip into 1/2 cup milk and 1 egg. Sorry, you have to be taking a bath with a baby to be. And whip it up. Nature can be a little awkward when you're cooking. And we're gonna make the dry dip, which is gonna be 1 cup of flour. And our secret ingredient, it is 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. And I believe with the spice of that Parmesan, this is what's in that flour. It's not just any salt and pepper mix in it. It is chicken bouillon. It has a richness to the flour part. And 1 cup of breadcrumbs. I use paper plates because it gets messy and I can throw these away. And now we're gonna salt them generously because restaurants just use a lot of salt and oil and butter and everything good in life. I love restaurant food. And now we're gonna heat up our oil. So I'm grabbing my Ep.6 frying pan. So onto the burner it goes. I'm starting on high and I'm pouring in about 2 cups of vegetable oil. You can use 1 cup, but I really want to get a crispy brown around all the edges too, with only 1 flip, so I'm using a little extra oil. I know from experience this is only going to take about 3 minutes to heat up, but if you don't trust yourself, turn your heat to medium, because you don't want to bring your vegetable oil up to a smoke. What's great about the Ep.6 is it has this little vent for steam. I can tell that is cooking just way too fast because it's a wonderful glass lid I can see. So I'm getting a little stir, a little pat down, and turning it down to medium-low. I just want a gentle simmer, rumbling boil, not the big one in here I can see through the beautiful glass lid. I really wanted something that was 100% PFOA and PTFE free, since those are the chemicals that were in Teflon that are toxic. Ep.6 makes this ceramic-coated cookware without those chemicals. It also doesn't have any toxic chemicals, lead or cadmium, and I saw it was an ultra non-stick, which is great for cleaning. Time to get those birds dirty and hit the bath. So dip them in that dirty flour with that secret ingredient of the bouillon. Give her a shake, and then give her a dip in her little bird bath. Shake off the water and into the crumbs. These are Italian breadcrumbs. I just used a major brand that had a little seasoning in it today, Italian seasoning, and that's what I think they have in their Olive Garden chicken parmesan recipe, because I could see the color in theirs. And now she's going to wait on deck for her turn in the fry pan. Next Wednesday routine, flour in the bouillon, bird in the bath, and the dip into the crumbs. On deck. And then you have the club fingers. And with your big saucepan, you got to add your water. So turn that heat on high. I'm adding half a tablespoon of salt. Toss it in the water. And I add a little oil for the non-stick factor, and believe me, it doesn't matter what kind of oil you add, because all that water is really going to dilute the taste anyways. And I used the vegetable oil already. It was already out on my counter. Easier. And this is a cheat I have to make any kind of pasta water boil faster, as I throw it in a microwave. 2 cups for 4 minutes. Now it's time to mash up our marinara carefully with a potato masher. Everything is so soft. Look at that piece of garlic go down. It's breaking up really nicely. I'm going to leave the lid off at this time because I want it to thicken up and some of that water to evaporate off the top. And add some more water to be about half a pot. Bring it to a boil. So put the lid on. What I love about the stock pot is it has silicone around the handles and the sides, so it's cool to the touch. And do some more mashing. And with all those soft tomatoes and onions in there, you get down to what looks like this. There's your marinara. And time for the fry. You can easily see how you could have made more chicken. If you had a large family, that would be just fine. These are very big pieces of chicken, but they will shrink up once they start to cook. I'm keeping my stove on medium. And now it's time for the pasta to go into that boiling water. Personally, I like to break it in half. It gets to be unmanageable if it's too long. Give that a stir, put the lid back on, and put your timer to 9 minutes. That's a perfect cooking time in my book. Our chicken's going to take about 3 minutes per side, and I'm turning my broiler on now because I want to melt the mozzarella on top of the chicken and the marinara for that golden brown color. Because I'm trying to achieve perfection and plenting up that table with a little artistic flair just to see if I can. The edges appear to be getting brown, so let's check. I think it's time for the flip. Oh yeah, that's lovely brown. And the other side. Let's give the pasta a stir. We don't want it to clump up. You always have to stir it once or twice, otherwise it will. And now we want to chop our parsley, put a little flecks on top. That chicken looks done. Let's check. Oh, beautiful. And the second one, pretty golden brown. Turn that stove off. And onto paper napkins it goes to drain the extra oil. Done, chum. Oh yeah. Off goes the heat. And now it's time to drain. That is steamy. Give it a toss. And for heat's sake, that pasta's gonna rest in this warm pot to keep it hot for dinner. And now here comes the artistry. I'm getting the marinara. The handle is cool. What a great cookware set. And I need to melt that cheese onto these pieces to look like the picture. So I'm spooning some of the marinara over the chicken. Each piece gets some. And now we're sprinkling the mozzarella cheese on top. But the mozzarella is more interior to the shot. I have studied that picture. And little baby flecks of parsley. And into the oven. On broil, she goes at a lower rack level. for 3 minutes. This is gonna go quick. And let's add our spaghetti to the plate. I'm gonna pull it lengthwise because that's the way it looked in the picture. A little more on top and a big tablespoon of the marinara. Ready, Freddy. And I think this is the only place the Parmesan really comes in. A teensy crumble on top. I'm looking at this cheese. I'm not seeing it melted or browned on top like before, so I'm gonna stick it underneath my broiler and I'm gonna keep my eye on it because that could catch on fire. It's been about 1 minute. Oh, perfect. There you go. You got the brown on top. A little brown on the edges. And this is the picture I'm going for, so wish me luck. So now we need to move the chicken onto the plate. So it's the same way that I saw in the Olive Garden menu picture. And seems like I need a little more of that. And onto that goes the marinara sauce. Okay, as I'm analyzing the picture on my computer, it seems to me it needs a little more of the green parsley. So I'm gonna add a little more to the chicken, a little more to the spaghetti part. Cooking is the most artistic thing I do in a day. I love it so much. You get to be creative, and today I wanted to match that picture. It was so fun cooking in my new Ep.6 pots and pans set. Click link below to get your Ep.6 pots and pans. I love them. Now it's time for the bite. Oh, look at that. Perfectly cooked in the center. That looks delicious. This is my bite with that marinara sauce and a little bit of spaghetti. And it's a really big bite because I wanted to taste it all. Oh. It tastes like Olive Garden, but to tell you the truth, it even tastes better and more fresh. I don't care about the missing Parmesan. That mozzarella is great in it. You can add a little extra. I do love the fact it's a very inexpensive dinner to make. This whole dinner you can make for a family of 4 for about $5. I piled this high with a lot of the marinara, and look how much I have left. That is so much. This was 8 ounces of cheese. It hardly took any. What a deal. What a family recipe or dinner party recipe. It's truly delicious. Oh, and to clean it, it's so simple. You can either just wipe it out or rinse it in water. You can add some soap if something looks a little troubling. I wouldn't even put it in a dishwasher. It's so easy to clean. Well, I'm Rebecca Brand, and I'm really hungry today. Please subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell to get notified of my next video. That's really important. Make a comment that's helpful. Like the video. Do all those things. It helps me on my channel so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying cooking and trying new recipes like Olive Garden's Copycat Chicken Parmesan recipe. That's so inexpensive to make and tastes so good. See you next time. I'm gonna take my lunch and my leftovers, just like I get at Olive Garden, and go eat in the corner now. Bye. Yum. Rebecca Brand, and I'm making one of my favorite midweek dinners. This dinner is so fast you can make it in 20 minutes for 2 or 10 minutes for 1. It's all about the cooking time. It is a beef stir fry. It has vegetables in it, and you might have some different ones in your kitchen, but this is what I grabbed out of my fridge. I'm making a really easy sauce with some hoisin and soy sauce, and I'm putting it over rice. And that rice took longer than the main part of this recipe to make. So start your rice, and then let's make this recipe together. The ingredients for this dish is a hunk of beef. I got this tri-tip at my grocery store. It was on sale. Any kind of beef will do. I'm using a hoisin sauce that I got at a grocery store, and soy sauce. If you can't find it easily, there usually is an Asian section, and that's where I get mine. It also could be next to the soy sauce section. You'll need 2 cloves of garlic, some onion, not that whole thing. I had celery, that's gonna give it some crunch. I had a zucchini, I had a red pepper, and I had some mushrooms. And you're gonna need a sharp knife to get into that piece of beef. So let's get started. I'm double checking my knife is super sharp with a little swipe against that sharpener. So with that sharp edge, we're going to cut a little hunk of that fat off. Maybe two. If you have fat on your beef, we're going to use that. So put a frying pan on your stove and turn it on high. And put that beef in to render the fat, because we're using that today. And because I want to get to the finish line fast, I'm adding more of that fat. It's just going to be faster if there's more fat in there. So here we go. We can see the grain of the meat. It's like threads, and they're all going this way. And for a tender piece of beef, you need to slice against that grain. Wow, that was one quick, swift cut with this jiggly knife. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Now this piece I don't need. I'm going to save that for another day or put it in my freezer. This is the piece I'm going to cook today, and that's about a half a pound of beef. I want to slice the fat off the top and make little pieces. I'm holding my meat firmly with my hands, and with the knife, I'm cutting off that fat. And into the pot. You might need to turn it. It's rendering fast, so flip them over. And turn it down. And let's open the door. There's a lot of smoke going on. And slice your beef up thin. This professional chef knife set is made of German carbon stainless steel. This is an 8-inch kitchen knife with a wooden handle. Keep going on your cutting up routine. So take some plastic wrap and let's put the meat in it with a topper. And this is my favorite part of the recipe. Time to get your daily venting out on your meat. So give it a pound. That took me 20 seconds, but boy, did that feel good. Voila. Now we're going to add a pinch of salt. Done. So push it aside. And that garlic comes next. Crushed garlic. I'm taking out that fat, all of it, and leaving the grease that rendered, and putting in the crushed garlic out of its little jacket. No jacket in the food. He's coming out. And give that garlic a swirl. And what's going to happen is that garlic is going to flavor all of that beef fat that you just made, homemade, by yourself, from scratch. This is one of the secrets of this recipe, is using what Mother Nature gave with the beef, the fat to cook it in. Because it's bubbling, I'm going to leave this on low. I do not want my garlic to brown, because if it were to brown, it'll get bitter. No bitter garlic from me. Garlic and onions go together. But this onion's a beast. I only want about that much. And this is my cheat. I'm just going to peel the part I'm using. It's so easy. It's so fast. And this outer skin is going to keep this half fresher in my refrigerator. The blade on this jiggly knife is 1.8 inches wide. It's made from the highest grade of German carbon steel, and that's stainless steel. And it chops. It's so high quality, it'll keep its sharp edge. Okay. For any kind of cooking you do, you need a chef quality, excellent knife in your kitchen, because it makes the experience of cooking wonderful. The duller your knife is, the more you're apt to cut yourself. So that garlic is now soft, and it has flavored all of that grease. So I'm going to take the garlic out and set it aside, because that's the one thing I don't want to get browned in my recipe. Turn your stove on high, and in go those onions. I've kept them in big pieces because that's just what's fun to have in a stir fry. Next goes the celery. I go all the way to the end. I'm okay with the leaves in it. Join the party. Let's chop our mushrooms. Roughly. In they go. And get them off the knife too. Let's give that a toss. Oh, it already smells great. And I add my vegetables in order of density. The zucchini is the next dense. And I like to cut things on an angle like that because it goes fast. And I want zucchini sticks. So keep going. Keep slicing that zucchini. Look at that. I'm using a whole zucchini today because it's so healthy and it tastes so delicious with the hoisin sauce. So toss them in, stir it around. Now look at all that animal fat from the beef is pretty much gone. It got absorbed with the mushrooms and the onions, but it's still there to coat the pan and to coat the food. But barely. It wasn't too much, and there was probably 3 tablespoons of that beef fat in there. My stove's still on high. That way we can get to the finish line fast. I love sweet red pepper in my stir fries. It's almost like it isn't a stir fry, or at least on the Asian front, without the sweet red pepper. Yum. And I love to chop rough. So that's it. In those peppers go and stirred up. And once those peppers are in, you're only going to let them cook for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to add the beef last. And you can never prove how great a knife is without slicing a tomato. So let me show you. Look how thin that's slicing. It's like a razor. Oh, that looks great. See how that's so brown because I had it on high? Now, push everything off to the side. This is my cheat for one pot cooking. And inside all of these pieces of beef, you can cook the way you like it. Put the beef so the surface hits that pan, and that's because you want it to sear on one side. Make sure it's still on high. And now while that's going, I'm putting the bed of rice to go underneath the beef stir fry. Now I'm adding a little cilantro, and after 3 or 4 minutes, it's time for the flip. Oh yeah, I didn't assist by the fork. Beautiful. Now, I like my meat a little pink in the center, so I'm going to call that done. I'm turning it off now. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of my packaged withHoisin, just in a bottle at the store. 1, 2, and 3. Oh my gosh, does that look good. And 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. Over the vegetables. Now the garlic goes on top. Look at that. Don't you just want to eat that out of the pan? Oh, it's ready, Freddy. Turn your stove off. It's time for dinner. Oh, look at that. A little vegetable and the beef. I want the one with all the garlic on it. This is definitely enough for 2. A little red pepper. Oh yeah. And that sauce. Get that sauce on it. Yum. A couple of tomatoes just for the fun of it. And maybe a little more rice for me. Oh yeah. I think that rice needs some sesame seeds too. And what about a drizzle of that withHoisin? Oh yeah. Time to try it. Oh yeah. Look at that. But that was just a little too big for this mousy because I want to bite with all my favorites. Oh wow. That is so good, and it was so easy. Yum. I'm Rebecca Brand. Please make a comment. Tell me what you want me to make next. And do you like beef stir fry? I hope you like this recipe. Thanks for watching. And now it's time for a union break. See you next time. If you want to make any of the recipes you saw on my show today, I've posted them all on YouTube. I'm going to show you how to find them so you can jot the recipes down and make it at your own house. So you got to get to a computer, you press your website browser, and you type in YouTube Rebecca Brand Recipes, and then you're going to get my page. And then you want to search for the recipe you saw on the show. So you go into the search bar, it's like you can never see it, so let me show you where it is. And in that bar, you type in what you saw. Let's say you saw a chicken recipe. So if you type in chicken and you press return, you're gonna get all my chicken dishes. And then you can just click on whatever chicken you want. It's as simple as that. So start watching the video, and in it comes the recipe. So you click pause, and that's it. Get your pencil and paper together, start writing. Those are the ingredients, and they're exactly what I make on camera. For the techniques, you might want to watch it again. But bon appetit, happy cooking, and I'd love to know how it turns out. Cheers.